is 2 o'clock. We will go ahead and get started with streamlining operations, how Grunder Landscaping reduced the burden of procurement with SiteOne's help. I am Emily Lindley. I'm Events and Content Manager at the Grow Group. Today with us, we have Marty Grunder from Grunder Landscaping in the Grow Group. We have Steve Hartkemeyer from SiteOne, and we have Brian Davis, also from Grunder Landscaping. The three of them are going to take you through all the slides and share all their knowledge with you today. Before they get started, I wanted to let you all know that as we go along, if you have questions, you can send them to us using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. We will save all questions to the end. I'll pop back on at the end to get you the answers that you need. Feel free to pop into the chat and chat with other attendees, and I'll be in the background if you guys need anything.
Emily, thank you very much. Brian, hello.
Hello, Marty.
How are you, buddy?
Good. How are you doing?
You ready to get this going?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Good to see you, Steve.
Thank you,
And
Brian.
we got Mr. Harkemeyer, and Steve is good.
Yes.
We're warmed up. We're ready to go. We've done our calisthenics. So, Steve and Brian, while we were getting warmed up here, we were talking about procurement, and I was giving some thoughts on it. And me personally, I find procurement to be one of these things that a lot of owners and leaders of landscaping companies don't realize how costly it can be to their company when it's not done right, and how much money you can save when it is done right.
Yes.
And so I'm excited to talk about this. And Brian, as you know, when we do our field trips here, and you actually have this as one of the stations where you talk procurement, I think it's fair to say that you're often impressed with how well this goes over. Am I wrong or right?
Oh, that's correct, Marty. Yeah. A lot of organizations don't really look at procurement as an efficiency or a drip within inside of them. But once you kind of peel that back and open up where things have gone sideways at times and how we can reduce costs, it is eye-opening.
It is. And, to kind of frame this, ladies and gentlemen, so we're glad you're on here. This is the first of many webinars we're doing as part of our Landscape Pros Playbook. This was in your November issue of Landscape Management Magazine. It was shrink wrapped in there, and Steve, right there in the open cover is a real nice ad from SiteOne, and as part of our big sponsors, SiteOne being one of them. We're in the SiteOne studios here at Grunder Landscaping Company. We're doing a webinar, an educational webinar, and this I think will prove to be very, very beneficial. Let's talk a little bit about how we streamline procurement, ladies and gentlemen. So when Grunder Landscaping Company did approximately $5 million in revenue, we basically had 5 full-time team members messing around in procurement to a certain degree. We had Brian involved in it. We had someone who oversaw it completely. We had a buyer who was literally driving and picking up stuff and on the phone all day, calling nurseries and saying, hey, Ben's Nursery, do you have 3 Norway spruce, 7 Techni arborvitae, 6 candy corn spirea? Yeah, we got those. Okay, would you set them aside? Check, spreadsheet. We had somebody watering stuff. We had a guy on the road all the time picking up stuff that I later found out was sometimes waiting at nurseries for 2 and 3 hours in a row, like behind other trucks to get picked up. I jokingly said, if I would have known that nonsense was going on, I would have called the nursery and said, listen, when a green Grunder landscaping truck pulls in your yard, you drop everything and load them up, or we're not buying from you anymore. Now, some of those nurseries may have said, Marty, go away, but I at least would have tried. I probably wouldn't have said it like that. I would have said, is there any way we could get loaded faster? Brian, it's fair to say, who knows how much we were spending on it. It was a mess.
Yeah, you start looking at the total labor cost that just from a driver standpoint, how many hours they spent in the truck sitting in a yard. It became taxing, just looking at that overhead that was just kind of wasted.
So this hopefully will blow your mind and give a really good cause for you to listen to us today on this SiteOne webinar on streamlining procurement. Today, 2 people manage procurement, even though our sales are at 18 million. So we're over 3 times the size we were, almost 4 times, and 2 people handle it. So how is this possible? Well, it's consolidating orders, it's planning ahead, and a big part of this, we got to give a shout out to Steve at SiteOne and his team. And that's why we brought him in here, because Steve, you are actually the rep that works with us on this.
I am.
You're the one that helped us, and we're moving through. And we have kind of a good infographic here that shows how this used to go. We used to win a job, and then a signed proposal was sent to the procurement team, and team at 5 million, Brian. Gosh, I even hate even saying that. Like, what were we thinking? The procurement team calls and checks inventory, prices online at various suppliers all over the place. Our driver goes to pick up the materials based on the purchase order. The driver brings back the materials to our holding yard. So we're picking up ball and burlap plants and moving them more, which anybody that knows anything about nursery stock, that's not a good idea because you're slamming balls, you're separating roots, you're weakening the collars, all of that. The procurement team consolidated the materials from multiple suppliers into the appropriate job sites, and then the crews would load their materials, take them to the job site. Oftentimes we'd realize, oh my gosh, we need two more candy corn spirea. Somebody didn't grab the maple. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, your guys forgot to pick it up. Well, maybe you forgot to load it on his truck, and then we get into that big brouhaha, and then it goes and starts all over a place. I mean, it was a total Frankenstein, if you will, mess in terms of how it worked. And it, at the time, we had so much going on here, we didn't realize it was bad.
Yeah.
The problems that it caused, the driver would arrive back at the shop to unload at unpredictable times. If we had our driver coming back in a truck and a tag trailer with 30 trees on it or whatever, then we had to get somebody there to help them unload it. So we had to have a crew leave a job site early, come back. We'd arrive at a supplier's physical location to find out that, yeah, sorry, those plants were sold. We don't have them anymore. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? We'd have to go to multiple suppliers to get what we needed. Our driver might have to go to Lowe's, SiteOne, 3 different nurseries all on the same day. Again, we talked about the wait time and so forth. And it was just a constant daily drain on our efficiency. And it was affecting our profitability. And I also think one of the other drips was, Brian, it was causing a lot of frustration. Like nobody, even though you're getting paid, nobody wants to be a part of something that you see and you see it could be done better. So Brian, why don't you tell us a little bit about how we turned to SiteOne and what we did?
Yeah, so when we started coming up with the process that we currently have now, we wanted to source all of our materials from one provider. So SiteOne was a great partner in that, and reaching out to them, and we kind of laid out our idea of what we wanted to do, structure wise, and delivery and everything. So we were able to turn to SiteOne and source all of our materials from them. It's one stop, so we're not running out to different nurseries. Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards, anything like that. So everything that we source, it's going straight to Steve and the team at SiteOne to help us out. And it also gives us the ability to schedule our deliveries when we need them, and when we have team members that can help us unload the product. So if we're need more people to help unload the semi, flatbed, box truck, whatever it might be, we can coordinate that with our group leaders to bring in extra help to do that. Also, the support and education from SiteOne on this aspect. They're holding universities, conferences on different hardscapes, ergonomics. We attended one last week in Cincinnati, just helping us grow the organization and get more knowledge for our team members as they grow and go up to different levels within.
Can I just interject there? And it's not
Yeah.
just like the education part, and it's not when we just say support, like literally we've had issues on jobs where we've called in SiteOne and told them to help us. We recently installed an irrigation system with their help because that's something we're struggling with that. Like we're subcontracting a lot of it. Our mission statement is to create opportunities for our team to grow and succeed by enhancing the beauty and value of every client's property while exceeding their expectations every step of the way. Brian, the lawn care division that you're a part of, that's something that came about by that. So SiteOne can help you with drainage. They can help you with lighting. They can help you with plants, with pavers, all those things. And what the other thing I found was your local office, as we were talking about before, may not have an expert there, but you got one a phone call away.
And that's true.
Or a Zoom away.
Yeah, and that's true. And that's really the beauty of SiteOne, is working together as a team that, enjoys working together. We leave our egos behind, and we focus on the customer and watch the customer succeed. And however way we do that is where we get the enjoyment from.
And that's the value add.
That's the
value. So it was just the supplies, that's great.
Right.
And that alone is a reason to do business with you. But when you look for the help, we have even found subcontractors to help us with our snow removal operations by talking to you folks.
That's true.
So, those kinds of things are important. Brian, you want to talk about the inventory?
Yeah, with the vast inventory that they carry, we minimize, just using to one supplier and just being able to source everything. So we're not having to make multiple phone calls or reaching out to different suppliers or vendors. It's picking up the phone, shooting an email over to Steve, whoever the contact is for a certain project, to get the materials that we're needing. So it's nice to have that one-stop shop per se. So we can look on the website, go there and utilize the website, what's in stock, the inventory levels are shown right there, and we get the updated pricing also. And tying in that with the early order programs just to help forecast out what we're anticipating for next year, so we can buy into those programs, get a discounted rate, and then have deferred payments until June, September, depending on the program.
And so elaborate just a little bit more on the early order program. Is there anything else to help everybody?
Early order
understand what
programs
that is?
for us is an opportunity for the SiteOne to win business and help our customers become more efficient. And along with that, it's the opportunity where we extend the payment terms out that
Helps with cash flow.
helps with cash flow,
Yep.
which is a tremendous asset for any small business, much less a landscape business.
Yes.
Because can be very seasonal.
Well said.
Seasonal. So we try to offer early order programs that incentivize customers to buy early. And thank you, Brian, for touching upon the philosophy of a one-stop shop.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Yes.
Brian, you want to go through how we handle procurement today? Because I think it's amazing what we've done, and what's really amazing is I had nothing to do with it because I was probably the architect of the first system we talked about, which stunk. Why don't you talk about the system that we run today that you've been an integral part of?
Sure. So when we get a property or a project that we win, we'll end up creating the PO for that project, and we'll send it over to SiteOne. 90% of the time it's going over to Steve for his review. So he's looking at it, he's gathering all the materials, and he just puts everything back to us in a quote. So it's coming back, what's in stock, if there's anything that's back order, what potentially would be delayed.
So is the purchase order, does it go to him automatically when we win the job in Aspire?
So what we create it through Aspire. So in our purchasing assistant, we'll create
That's
the PO.
what Amanda does.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I got it.
Yeah, so we'll create it, let's say we win a hardscaping job for Mrs. Smith. So she'll go in there and she'll create the PO for Mrs. Smith, send it over to SiteOne or Steve through Aspire. So he's reviewing it in a PDF. So he's seeing everything that we see on our end. So there's no ambiguity in the inside of it. So we're looking at the same thing, and he's able to come back to us and his quote and say, we can get this, these items here that they're in stock. These are going to be maybe on a delay or for some reason. And we also put in there in the notes, we put in an expected delivery date, when we like to have them in the yard, so we're not pushing out the job at any time. And when he returns back with a response, if there's anything that might be delayed, he has substitutions in mind that we might be able to do in place of it. So he puts those ideas out there with us, and he kind of knows our client base and what their expectation is alongside of ours.
Thank you, Brian. And those POs are given to me probably minimally 2 to 3 weeks in advance. With a clear delivery expectation date, and sometimes those dates vary, but the key is that the expectation is given to us ahead of time.
And I know when I've been on the road speaking at SiteOne universities, I mentioned this to you, Steve, and Brian, you heard me say it. And I've talked to SiteOne reps all across the country the night before I'm going to speak, and I'll say, hey, what's something I could touch on tomorrow that maybe you struggle with clients? And every single one, it always comes up in the conversation. I wish our clients would let us know when they sold something because most of them wait till the last minute. Like
Yeah.
they sell a job in April and then they contact them in June and say, hey, I need 33-inch oaks, or I need 1,200 square feet of techo block, or I need, 600 pounds of prairie seed. And that's dumb.
Yeah.
Because the more planning you have there with all that you can work on, depending on when you got the job, Brian, you might even have been able to put the stuff in on your early order program and save money on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can definitely do that. And, given there's going to be, supply chain issues, with something that might be down the road that we're not anticipating. So the sooner that we can get the product and brought into the yard, so we're not delaying that project,
Right.
the better. And, working with SiteOne, they know that we're giving them that extended time, so it's not that last minute.
Well,
hey,
and also it's very ill-advised to start a job before you have the material. That's just asking for trouble.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh yeah.
it's just a bad idea. Anything else on the process?
So once we get everything ordered and, we get a delivery date as it comes in, depending on the size of the delivery, we might bring in a few extra hands to help out. But the plant yard manager, he'll unload the delivery. We order everything specific for a job, for a client's installation. So as soon as it comes off, it's tagged for them. So nothing gets taken away from that actual ticket. So it's sold tag is written on it. It's staged in the location. And as soon as the job is getting ready to go out, we're putting those notes inside of Aspire in the ticket notes. So the team leader, the group leader, they know when that material is ready. So if they need to pick it up a day early or anything like that, it's already staged for them, ready to go.
Yeah. And every seller has proactive calls that they make every week and every month. And part of those proactive calls is asking open-ended questions to customers and asking, what they have coming up in their pipeline and how SiteOne can help with that pipeline. So for all those landscape contractors out there, I would encourage you to reach out regularly to your SiteOne rep and talk about, how we can help you streamline and help your business.
Anything
Yeah,
else?
absolutely. No, like Steve said, they're in communication with you. They're there to help make your business run smooth. So definitely utilize them. We've definitely reached out to Steve and Chad, my contacts, and making sure that they know what's in the pipeline for us, how things are going throughout the course of the season. Are there any adjustments that we need to make, or things that we didn't foresee that are that we need to adjust?
It's not, I don't think it's embellishing at all to say that SiteOne is a partner in our success and they can do the same thing for you. And maybe you don't have Aspire or LMN or whatever product you're using. Maybe you're still using spreadsheets. And we'll mention this when we wrap up, but I still think it'd be a great idea to call your SiteOne rep, have them come out to you and say, hey, Marty Grunder said that SiteOne can save me money with my procurement efforts. I don't really know what I'm doing here. Can you help me? And they'll help you.
Yes,
They'll talk to you and they'll
Yep.
show you how they can work with you. Because,
Absolutely.
look, this convoluted way we showed you at the start, that's what happens when you're an entrepreneur. You get in business, there's no manual we're trying to give you a manual on this today, but there's no manual for this stuff. You figure it out, you start analyzing your data on a hopefully weekly and monthly basis. You see where you're making money, where you're not making money, and you look for holes that are costing you money and you move on. Brian, this is our main office. Well, we don't even really like to call that. This is our Dayton, Ohio office. It's a lot bigger office than our Cincinnati office, but this kind of shows you how we work. You want to just kind of take this through just quickly?
So yeah, everything is labeled location wise. You can see where we stage everything for the crews. So in the morning time in their rollout, they'll get loaded up to a trailer, or if they're just taking their truck, if they're picking up plants, you see where the plant yard is located. They'll also pull over to the mulch pit, and they'll get mulch, grow mix, compost, anything loaded there. And then they can swing out to the paver area if they're needing that. We do have 2 loaders that are moving at that time. So we have one that's loading the mulch in that area. And then we also have a loader that's up in the pavers to keep those crews moving. So I mean, with the size of the fleet that we have and the number of crews, we're able to get these guys out within a quick time. I think 30 minutes is about average for us right now. Even in the peak season, which is pretty good when you have that many paver crews that are going out, mulching jobs, and then lawn care, and then plant installations. There's a lot of moving parts, and still being able to get all those crews out.
And I think the way that we have this set up on the pavers, SiteOne just comes in here and they have a designated delivery spot, and then Matthew gets their paperwork. It gets entered into inventory. I mean, even that's a pretty self-sufficient situation, right?
Yeah, there is a location up there. You see it labeled pavers, so they know that's
Yeah.
where any product is going to go. Matthew goes up there. He's already got a game plan for anything that's coming in, and he just works with the delivery driver where we want it located, and it all gets set up.
Talk a little bit about the system within the system. This is the one hoop house that we have, and we don't grow anything. It's strictly for holding things, but talk a little bit about how we do that.
So the hoop house is for all of our shade plants that you see in the picture. And then we also have 4 other rows of mats. So we have the hoop house is labeled as row 2, and then the mats are 3, 4, 5, and 6. So each one of those, there's an A and B on either side. So we have those additional rows so we can have plants staged for the crews to come up, pick up in the morning time, and it's loaded into a Spire in their ticket notes if they're going to be, and their plant materials will be staged at 2A, 2B, or 4A, 4B. We also have a drive-through that we can accommodate 2 trucks and trailers that'll pick up on either side. So there's not a bottleneck or a log jam that's right there. We're able to keep the traffic moving smoothly, so we can have multiple trucks loading up plant material at the same time. So large trees, we can get those taken care of also.
And just to be clear, we're not inventorying much. The stuff we're bringing in is for what we're using, and that's been a big change too. We don't have money tied up in inventory.
That's correct. Yeah, everything that we bring in house or that we get delivered has been sold to a job.
Right.
So we're not buying stuff just to have sitting on the mats.
Right.
So everything
Yeah,
is sold to a client.
I think that's a misnomer. I've heard people say, well, I have to do that so I have a good selection. I don't think that's the case anymore. That's that's SiteOne's job to keep their coffers full so it can be pulled from. Anything else on the plant yard map, Brian?
One of the biggest things that really helped us was the drive-through. As we got larger, we originally just had the hoop house in row 3 and 4, and as we expanded the plant yard, I think it was when we got to about 12 million is when we started the drive-through, and you can see in that diagram where the green line goes through, that's our drive-through. So we're able to load up more plant material in trucks to keep the guys going. So that was probably the biggest shift in being more efficient in the plant yard.
The paver yard I mentioned, the pavers for upcoming jobs, they're organized in the center. We got drive lanes around them. SiteOne comes in with, I guess it's called a donkey. Is that what it's called?
It's a straight truck with a Teledyne on the back.
Teledyne on the back. And so they'll unload, those will go in there. We have extra pavers that we line up, and I'll go back to this slide just to give you, if you ever want to see us, come to one of our field trips and you can see it in person. But down here in the bottom right-hand corner, so that's the pavers are where they have it circled. You can see it labeled, and then leftover pavers. And we try to stay very organized. It becomes difficult, where I know Seth, our president, there's discussions where we'd really like to just use Techo block and just be done with that. So, those are all the things that go there in terms of organization. Anything else on the pavers, Brian or Steve, you want to comment on?
One thing I will add that isn't being addressed right now is that SiteOne certainly has the capability of shipping
direct to the job
loads directly to a job site. That could be like step 2 of being efficient. And we've done that in the past with Grunder.
Yeah.
It just typically the orders are delivered to the paver to their office.
Right. We're still doing a lot of smaller residential jobs. I know for the big jobs we'll do that. Lighting. This is a big place where you folks have helped us a lot. We're a big supporter of Hunter's FX product. Great product, great performance. I have it at my own house. you know, delivering on a per job basis again. We're not carrying any of this in inventory, although in talking with you of late, apparently there's an early order program on there.
There is an early order program that
Yeah.
we're in the beginning stages of proposing it to the Grunder Landscaping team. There are some benefits for us and for Grunder if
Yeah.
everybody's going to participate. And you know, it's a partnership. So it's one of those things where we'll discuss and see if it's a good fit.
And you know, for us, it's not, we try to limit our options, and we're limiting our options so it's easier to sell folks, but also we don't like trying new things out on the client. Every time I do that, not every time, but when we have problems, you should try this. And then you go and you try it, or you got 3 different kinds of light bulbs and all this other stuff. You're just adding to the complexity, and you're just increasing your chances for failure.
Yeah.
And I think this is great, delivering it for the job, getting the orders in advance, the clarity on the purchase orders. But the last bullet point, the training opportunities, like, we didn't know that much about lighting, all right? And Seth, our president, knows a lot about lighting, but we can't afford to have him bogged down training all day. You guys have done on-site, you've come in our office, technical support, we've had your people out on a job where we had an issue. I mean, there's just a wealth of opportunities to help there as well.
It is. And we've done lighting training for the market as recently as yesterday.
Yeah.
So you know, if lighting is not something that you're currently doing within your business, but you want to learn more, again, reach out to your SiteOne rep and they can help you with any training with lighting. Agronomics was recently done, hardscape training. SiteOne wants to be the forefront of training contractors. We want to be the people that people look at to help people grow their business.
And that goes, if you hear of a bid on a large commercial site that's plants, have them help you bid it. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I think the biggest thing we want you to take away from today's webinar is reach out to your SiteOne rep, tell them about your business, what you're doing, talk about your hot spots, your struggles, and ask them how they can help you.
Yes.
And I think you'll be surprised what they can do for you.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
I mean, and it helps us so much. We can't send Seth out on every lighting service call either. Like, we've had to call you guys and say, hey, we're not sure what to do here. Can you help us?
Right.
And you've taught Marcos. We taught Zach. Zach got promoted. Marcos is there. Marcos went out and fixed something on an irrigation system at my house. I didn't even know he knew how to fix. I said, where'd you learn that? SiteOne. I mean, it's just so it's there.
Right.
And I don't know if people understand that that's all the value that SiteOne gets. Like, it's not just a supply yard.
Yeah, absolutely. It's more of a personal relationship and working together as a team. I always look at it as SiteOne and my responsibilities with SiteOne, and particularly Grunder Landscaping, is that we're an extension of each other's business. Right. And part of that extension is, relationship and building and a true partnership.
And you are a partner so much. Yes. In fact, you have a nickname here.
I do.
And what's your nickname?
What you tell me.
Clutch Camacho.
That is. Yeah.
Clutch Camacho. Because man, when we're screwed, we say call Clutch. I don't know where that came from, but
something Seth came up with years ago, and it was during the COVID years.
Yeah.
And anybody that was in business during the COVID years know that particularly in hardscape, the products could be difficult to find. Especially with those that last minute things that may be a change order or something else. So there were times when Seth would call me and say, hey, we need an extra, 20 linear feet of cap, or we need an extra 300 square foot of pavers. And, I was able to look at SiteOne and see what the available
in Michigan, but you went and got it.
Right. Yeah. And what was available within SiteOne. And, I would always say, Seth, give me an hour or two to work on it. And I would call Seth and say, okay, I can get what you need, but I have to ship it LTL from, North Carolina or Michigan or wherever it was. And, there was some extra freight involved with that, but that was like, 201. That was really,
Basic.
how,
right.
We were able to grow a relationship and learn.
Well, you can't do the job. You don't have the material.
Exactly.
And there's stuff that happens. You bid one, you think you got it right, and then the plan's off, or customer says, man, I want the pavers to go out where my grill is now. And you're like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Yep.
And you got to do it.
You have to.
And so
Yep.
Clutch Camacho could come through for us. On the inventory, things that happen, bulk materials, mulch, compost, cobbles, gravel, irrigation parts, grass, seed, fertilizers, herbicides. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff that we have. And I think, Emily, if I'm correct, we got a video to show, right?
Yes, if you click it again, it should play. The audio is not coming through. Could you actually click? Do you remember how we fixed that the last time?
I think so. Coach me, help.
Can you scroll over that video actually
Yeah.
and click the speaker button? Okay. If up in sharing your screen, there should be a checkbox. We still can't hear it very well. Can you, on the share your screen button, can you click the check, make sure the checkbox to share your audio is selected?
Yep. We'll get it, folks. Stick with me. We'll make it worth your while.
If you can't get the audio going, Marty, you can talk over what they're seeing there while the video plays.
Yeah, I'll just do that.
Okay.
Thank you, Emily.
Yeah.
So this is what we have here is, if you look here, these are some hog feeders, and we're showing what we ended up doing was, these are things that we use all the time, and materials, grass seed, herbicide, fertilizer. And instead of giving somebody that big bag of fertilizer that they're going to break in their truck and get wet and dump in the dump, what we found was we put these hog feeders up here in this system, and we built pipes to dispense them, and then they go in proportioners that go in the individual trucks, so it limits the waste. Really interesting, Brian and Steve. One of our clients in the Grow Group, Nate, runs Badger Maintenance in Wisconsin. He showed this video to his plumber, and his plumber came in because they're really good with this pipes, and he built this whole thing for him. And they actually put the hog feeders behind the wall. You can't even see them. All you see are these pipes coming out of the wall with the dispensers, and he has like 9 things that dispense. So again, when we're talking about controlling inventory and controlling waste and keeping your things organized, this is just another way to do that. And again, how much money does this save us? It probably saves us thousands of dollars a year, Brian, because you get the bag of herbicide, you throw it in the back of the truck, it gets wet, it breaks open, you dump it. What's a bag of Snapshot cost?
About $90.
Okay,
roughly.
so there you go.
Yeah.
And that's out the window. So, you know, these are things, just all I'm saying is I just think there's a better way to do stuff and ways that you can think this through. Brian, anything to add on that?
No, you touched on it. That's the big thing of minimizing waste. And that has been a huge part of that, is they're filling up their proportions, what they need for the day, not for the whole week or month or anything. Like you said, something spill inside the truck or get wet and get wasted. It's what they're needing for that day or for that job.
And I think the other thing, you have Matthew that keeps those bins filled. So he fills the bins, and when he's down inventory, then we contact SiteOne and tell him to bring some in to restock, right?
That's correct.
So
So
it
when we do our-
doesn't get into the situation where we're out, because the bins gives you a day or so for sure. Maybe in the
Yeah.
spring when we're busting it doesn't, but it does kind of insulate us there a little bit. We got somewhat of an inventory system on it.
Yeah, each one of the bins will hold about 3 bags, depending on what the product is. So 150 pounds, and you know that kind of will get us through. Like I said, we have about a day buffer, and we know ahead of time. But doing the end of the month inventory, we're able to catch anything like that.
Let's talk about the pricing catalog, Brian, because this is another thing. Again, I don't know how to do this, but I do know the outcome. So talk about it.
Yeah, so our pricing in the catalog is updated monthly. So we want to make sure that the pricing that the sales team is as accurate as it can be, so they can obviously make more accurate bids for our clients. So we're not losing out on anything. So like I said, we do it monthly. A lot of items or some items will update weekly, depending on how volatile those are. It's more along the green goods. We'll see more on that. But the hardscape, lighting, irrigation, we'll look at it monthly. We'll just update it at that point.
And that's so important because I think if you're not updating your catalog often, you could be losing a lot of money and not even know it.
Yeah, you can see a big swing if you're not doing it. Before you know it, you might be out
Right.
$60, $70 on a piece, and you're like, wow, where did that go? But it's just a slow increase if you're not doing it monthly.
Anything else to add on the pricing catalog?
One of the great things also is the integration between Aspire and SiteOne. The catalog is also integrated in there. So that is a great help to our sales team, even with us, that we can find items within our catalog that's readily available with SiteOne.
Thank you, Brian.
The best ways to work with SiteOne. So ladies and gentlemen, look, we found the real power in working with SiteOne comes from streamlining operations. There's a few big impacts, like we mentioned here, the help with bidding and pricing. So you're in the estimating stage talking to SiteOne. Look, even if you don't think they can help you, like, call them, talk to them, go to lunch, go over to their office with your plans, or have them come into your office and show them what you're doing. Creating online quotes that can be approved and completed online and delivered to your facility or job sites. And then the education, the pricing support, adding a new service. They help us design and select products when we launched our lawn care service. They were instrumental in that. The training and the vendor support. It's just been a tremendous partnership and a real big way to help us. Steve, what can you add on that?
Where SiteOne really enjoys working with contractors is on a one-on-one basis and working proactively to watch each other grow. And I've been doing this for 21 years. It's 21 years at the end of November.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And
maybe I'll cook dinner for you.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yes. And one thing that I've really enjoyed over the last 21 years is watching companies grow. Seeing the one-man crew or the owner operator grow into this, large company where they're supporting other families, they're supporting their own family. That's really where this industry can really shine. And SiteOne is just a partner in that relationship with you. And that's where we really, really, truly like to be.
Yeah, and you'll walk a day in our shoes as well.
Absolutely.
Talk about doing it online, because I think this is probably, hopefully folks listening are like, okay, Marty and Brian and Steve, we're sold. What do we do? Like, talk a little bit about how you can do this online.
Okay, so SiteOne.com is of course a website for us where contractors can shop 24/7. Years ago, the leadership within SiteOne recognized that customers wanted to do business on their own time. And this is how you can do this. Truly, you can shop inventory and check inventory 24/7, 365 days out of the year.
Amazing.
You can manage your own invoices. You can pay your own bill. You can place your own orders. You can place your own orders for in-store pickup. You can place your own orders for on-site delivery. And it, with the bid and quote system piece to it, it integrates with QuickBooks, LMN, Aspire, Arbor Gold, and Hindsight. It is truly for us a game difference maker for us.
It's funny, Steve, as I'm listening to you talk, I vividly, even though I'm 57, I vividly remember being over here when I lived right by the office. I'm 26 years old. I got a little baby, and I remember being in the kitchen table, and I was trying to get my act together for the next day, and I was writing out to-do lists like, I got to call Brown's Nurseries and get this. I got to call Stone Center and get this. If that stuff would have been around then, and I could have gone online at night and gotten all that ready, because to teach here for a moment, ladies and gentlemen, the two most important people in any business are, first and foremost, I believe, your team, and then secondly, your customers.
Yes.
So all of these things, using technology and leveraging this, should allow executives in a company, ownership in a company, leadership in a company, to spend more time with the team and to spend more time with the client.
Yes.
And I think that's the big benefit here. Like, finding a better way to do this stuff gives you more time to do that. And that's where you're going to leverage.
Yes.
That's where you're going to leverage
Yeah.
the business.
And for those that have families, please do not spend your time working on the kitchen table like Marty did. There are tools out there to make your life a whole lot easier,
like SiteOne's
than they are now.
Yeah.
You know, as a warm up to this presentation, you know, just an hour ago, Marty and I were talking about how far we have come.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And you know, I remember coming into the office at 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning, and pulling faxes off the machine. You know, and then you'd have to write down, you know,
fax it back
with what the customer's sell price was and date it. You know, those days are over. Please, you know, thank God we have now email. With SiteOne.com, it is the next step to make your business much more efficient.
So in terms of when things don't go as expected, when there's a back order, a delay, or out of stock notices, Brian and Steve, what do we do there?
May I speak, Brian?
Yeah, go right ahead.
My take of this slide, folks, is that nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
And everybody, you know, everybody's human, and things are going to come up where you know, it can be a problem.
That's reasonable.
But by putting these steps in place that we've talked about for the last 45 minutes, the problems that come up are very minor. And we have 4 bullet points here, all of which can be worked through pretty easily. But to do that, I would encourage you to talk to your sales reps, get the POs to the customers, or get the POs to your sales rep ahead of time, so that the problems are negated.
You're setting yourself up for success.
Exactly.
When you do that. You're setting yourself up for failure when you're running by the seat of your pants and you're calling them, say, hey, I got to start this job tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm sure many times a SiteOne rep wants to say, Jimmy, I mean, when did you sell this job?
Yeah.
You know, and that's a tough situation because you're trying to help them, and you don't want to tick them off or you know, be snotty, but at the same time, it's like, look, you got to help yourself. Like, and that's, you can't say it, but I can. Come on, contractors. Like, if you want to make some money, this is what you have to do. And yes, this is a fair amount of work to get set up, but man, is the juice worth the squeeze?
It is, absolutely.
Anything else on the damaged deliveries or forgotten items or client changes? It kind of all falls into what you just talked about, I think.
I think so. I can't remember too many situations where, you know, things kind of go sideways, but when they do, you know, your SiteOne rep, pick up the phone. You know, these things can be worked out. And again, nobody's perfect, and you know, when the things go sideways, it's more on how you handle it than how you don't handle it.
Well, and look, SiteOne is not a $2 million a year company. It's a multi-billion-dollar organization with over 600 locations across the United States. They're going to come through for you. If something's damaged or something's messed up, they will run and go make it right. Brian, we have numerous examples of that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, communication is key on this, you know, this last slide here. That's the biggest thing. So back order delays, out of stock notices, communication on both parts, SiteOne to Grunder Landscaping to the client, you know, letting them know, hey, we have a delay in product, we might be missing something, but we might still forge forward with the project. There might just be a slight delay on getting that installed. But that's the biggest thing, is the communication aspect from you with the SiteOne rep.
Oh, and Clutch Camacho has come through for us so many times, and that's the cool thing, that I don't even know by the time you screwed it up. So if you screwed something up, it must be that bad. It must not be that bad because I didn't even hear about it. So
and that's been enjoyable working with you so long.
Yes,
it's you know, it's really been truly a partnership. I've said it many times this afternoon, but it's been a partnership, and it's been fun.
Yeah, well, it is fun. It's fun having you in here today. So we've gone through a lot here. Hopefully we're getting you thinking about procurement. Like I said when I started, I think it's one of those drifts. You don't realize it. Maybe you've had an epiphany today watching this. Emily, do we have any questions anybody has? Maybe we can help some folks move their businesses forward.
We do have questions, and I'll remind everybody that if you have additional questions you want to send to the team, please send them using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Or if you'd like to hit the raise your hand button, I can also unmute you and you can have a conversation.
We'd love to hear somebody come on live. Hot dog, that'd be cool.
But to get us started, Tiffany asked, are they filling up their daily stock of seeds and herbicide into 5-gallon buckets? Do you want to maybe speak to what kind of containers you equip the teams
I
with?
mean, Brian, you want to, I mean, I know what it is, but Brian, you're more close to that. Why don't you just talk about what we do?
So think of a shoebox container that has its lid that has caps on the end of it. That's about the size that we have, depending on the crew.
Just a
Um,
Rubbermaid,
yeah, just
or whatever brand it is.
yeah, and that's the size that they take. Now, if they are going to a larger project, we might be combining crews. We do have larger containers that they'll fill up, but we don't send crews out with 5-gallon buckets. It's well contained or a smaller portion, so we're not wasting product.
I'm going to go back to the start, Emily, and show something that might help Tiffany. So Tiffany, if you see this truck we have on there, so the I-Pack behind the Isuzu cab over, that's where all their shovels and rakes and weed eaters and backpack blowers. And if you see the little saddle boxes underneath that, that goes, you can't quite see it. They're stackable Rubbermaid boxes about the size of a shoebox. So you've got those in the truck there. They fit in that side box, and that's how that works. Hopefully that helps. Good question.
Great. This one came from Bob. How long does loading typically take for you in the morning? Do you have any jam points you've seen that you are working on fixing within the yard?
I'll answer that real quick because that's Brian's department. It's pretty smooth. A lot of it has to do with the way the material comes in here, and it's on oversized pallet racks with color-coded tape that goes in with the color on the job on the Aspire ticket. Brian's done a really nice job getting that, so men and women in the morning are not scrambling around. It's getting right on the trucks. I think, Brian, if somebody's loading a bunch of plants and a bunch of pavers, even when they're doing that, they're still out of here by 7:30, and we start at 7, and we usually have a 7-minute huddle. So I'd say about 23 minutes is the longest it takes to get out of here, even when they have a lot to put on. Is that fair?
No, that's pretty accurate. We've timed it in with large jobs getting loaded, with the crew members helping load the truck themselves, and Matthew in the plant yard, myself getting out there. We're able to get trucks loaded within 10 minutes, and so on average, we're out of the shop by 7:30 at the latest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, that's the whole goal here. You're trying to limit that time.
Okay, we're getting a couple questions about inventory. So I'll start with Jeff's. Jeff asked, how do you account for the materials in those hog feeders in Aspire? Is that charged to the ticket?
So we bring the product in the inventory, and when our sales rep or our sales designer, they sell the project, it's already accounted for in that work ticket. So it's allocated. So the crews at the end of when they're closing out or completing the ticket, they're allocating what product they use. So then we just deduct it from our inventory at that time.
Yeah, so it's just an inventory item, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Part of how we price it.
Okay, and then this one was also about just inventory in general. How do you manage your current inventory of materials? Do you know how much you have on hand at a given point in time of fertilizer, mulch, bed edging, topsoil, compost, etc.?
Yeah, so at the end of the month, we always do end of the month inventory. So we see what we went through during the month, and then we put it against the cost or what we used. So we look at any variances in there. At any given point of the month, I can go into inventory and see what our allocations are, what's on hand, and we can kind of get a gauge of where it's at, how accurate we are. But yeah, it's pretty easy in Aspire. I just pull up inventory and I can just print off the sheet and I can go walk the yard and look at everything.
That's not how we used to do it. We used to have no stinking clue. So I'm just being honest.
Okay, Mitch has a follow-up question. So when the crews allocate materials, is it just automatically deducting, or are you entering? And then when you receive, are you entering the received quantities?
So when we receive product, we receive what that is in the inventory. That's 5,000 pounds of fertilizer. As the crews are out and they're finishing their work tickets, they're allocating that product. It's slowly deducting off of that 5,000. So it's just ticking out as each crew is releasing materials for the job. It's just pulling from that 5,000.
And Brian, just to make sure we're being clear with this, if a crew has more of a quantity allocated for a job ticket than they end up using, how do you guys handle that?
So it's an overage on material. So we have an adjusted price or a price that was bid, for materials. It'll just go red in the material list that we've gone over. Not something that we look at on a monthly basis. We'll review tickets material-wise that have extended what we actually allocated for. So we make those adjustments, but we've already sold the job at that cost. So that just falls back on the salesperson making a more accurate bid. So we can see where we went sideways.
I didn't know that either. Thanks, Brian.
But for the most part, everybody's pretty good at getting those. There's not too many times that we've missed something on our bids. We might go, maybe a couple pounds of fertilizer here or a pound or something, but for the most part, we're pretty good at
And
it.
isn't that part of because the estimating system that we use between property intel, doing square footages, knowing the application rates, having the kits built? I mean, that's all a roll up of that. Is it not?
Yes, that's everything. So,
Yeah.
making sure that our equipment's calibrated correctly, the square footages when we measure them on property intel is correct in there. Inside the kits, we have everything, mapped out how much we should be using. So there's no math on the backside, per se within the salesperson, but what it might just be, we didn't see that we extended a bed. So we went a little bit further or something, or went heavy. So we're just seeing something like that. It's just you'll see it red in the material list.
Great questions. Great discussion.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, this one came from Chris. How do you handle inventory for repair parts, like for irrigation or lighting issues that you run into?
Yeah, so we keep an inventory stock of those on hand, and so we don't have to go out and buy them or anything like that. So we order them as needed. Or Marcos is our technician, so we keep a stock on hand. If irrigation is damaged or needs repaired, we sell that work ticket. We're just using it from our inventory stock.
He has some in his truck, and then we're not carrying a ton of that. We don't need to because we got this guy.
Yeah, we don't carry a ton of irrigation. We have some heads that we keep up in the mezzanine,
splicers, all that stuff.
Yeah, and for the most part, after that, everything is contained in this truck. But on-hand quantities on irrigation replacement pieces, there's not a whole lot of inventory.
Yeah.
Okay. That is all the questions I am seeing from attendees right now. Marty, Brian, Steve, is there anything that, oh, I'm sorry, I spoke too soon. We just had a new one come in.
We can get it. Go ahead. That's fine.
So Tiffany asks, I come from a civil engineering and master plan development here in Houston. Just getting started and gaining momentum, very green to the contractor side. Are there any mentorship programs available to learn from the Grow Group, it sounds like? Or if you want to speak to what SiteOne has available as well.
Well, I think there's two things, Tiffany. I think get our great idea. You can sign up for that on our website because every week that comes out on Sunday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we constantly have a rolling catalog in there for opportunities for you to learn. Consider coming to one of our field trips, coming to Grow, which isn't too far from you in February in Dallas, Texas. And then again, just be humble and just talk to your local SiteOne rep and ask them that same question. I'm sure they'd be happy to help you.
Absolutely. And then there's one other piece that hasn't been mentioned. If you go on to SiteOne.com and scroll down, you will find a spot that is noted upcoming events. And that section will have training that will be available in your market. If you don't see anything on the website, please reach out to your local store, your local sales rep, and ask them what training do you have scheduled for the winter months coming up.
And Tiffany, just to give you some inspiration, I started in this business 41 years ago. I went to college for business. I just wanted to make money. I enjoyed landscaping, and Now we do some of the most complex projects you could ever see. And I'm not the architect behind them. I have a team, but it's a process. And I think the best thing is it sounds like you're passionate about it and you want to do it, and that'll drive success. I mean, that's sounds like it's something you're interested in, and there are opportunities out there. And I think if you find some of your peers, come to one of our meetings, depending on what size your business is and what you're up for. We have peer groups where you can learn through that as well. Um, Welcome. We're glad you're here. Come in, the water's warm.
Okay, and another question from Chris. How do you get, I love this question. How do you get crews not to stop at gas stations in the morning to pick up their ho-hos, drinks, and snacks?
Well, I'll let Brian answer that and then I'll fill in the gaps.
Everybody, so gas, we fill up our gas at the end of the day here at the shop. So we do have fuel cells that are available. So we eliminate that anticipation of I got to get gas, I might as well go in. So that's taken away. So we fill up the trucks at the end of the day. And culture wise, everybody knows that we don't stop at the gas station. We don't stop for lunch. We don't stop for ho-hos, Gatorades. You bring all of that in. You come to a field trip, you'll see everybody has their lunchbox, their backpacks. They're ready for the day. So we're staying on the job site. We go from the shop to the job site, and there's no in between stops along the way.
And that's why I wanted Brian to answer that. So that's perfect. The other thing that I will just add on that is they're incentivized because of our performance pay for performance program. They're incentivized. The bonus is based on how many hours they work and their on-site time. So if they're going to stop and get drinks, which gas stations and so forth are geotagged, if you do that, your manager's going to ask what's going on. Somebody might say, hey, I had a bathroom emergency. And look, we're not ruthless. We understand that, okay? But I also know, and I'm not going to name names, Brian knows of the crew that got called on the carpet because they pulled in the gas station. A group leader saw them and went and sat and waited on them. And when they all came out with their goodies walking, he said, what are you doing? And he wrote them up for it. So, you know, you got to inspect what you expect. It's part of our culture. We do a lot of nice things for our team. We do not have a big turnover. If you've allowed them to do that for a long time, you know, you're going to have to go slow and try to break it. But we don't like it. We don't want our trucks in there getting backed into. We don't want stuff getting stolen off of them. And we're here to work. And we have a philosophy that you get in here early and we're going to get you home early, not get in here early and work till 10 o'clock at night. Now, truth be told, many of our H-2B workers, we allow them to work later hours. That's what they want and it works. But we just frown on that. That's not something that culturally, exactly the way Brian explained it, is what we do. Yeah. And I don't think it's a case of Brian, who's one of our on our leadership team at our company in a significant position. It's not Brian doing what Marty wants. Brian's talking about that because he believes in it too.
Oh, absolutely. My crews that go out, they know, like you said, that they're incentivized to hours that produced versus indirect time. So they look at that closely. So when they get back to the shop, they see what tickets are green, what tickets are red. So what can they do to make sure that they're green?
Point. That's a great point to add, Brian. Thank you.
And how and one other way how site or how Grunder is doesn't have a big problem with that. They have a lot of their products delivered to their store, to their shop, and you know,
we're not going to Lowe's with the whole team shopping for stuff.
And the wasted man hours that companies have by having a crew of you know, having their crew at a
bag of Sacrete,
walking through Home Depot, you know, picking up their PVC, their NDS drainage, or whatever it is. They're going, the products are being delivered ahead of time on a per job basis to their shop. Loaded up in the morning and going directly to the job.
Great question. I didn't realize it would tie back into SiteOne, but it does. Yeah.
Okay, this one came from Bill, and I think it's for Steve. Are there quantity breaks or dollar amount breaks for purchases? And then how does this relate to the early order programs?
There is absolutely quantity breaks and quantity breaks and dollar purchase breaks based on how much you buy. We refer to that as tiered pricing. And when you buy in an early order program, Oftentimes the material is being shipped directly to your shop, and the direction there is to do what we need to do in order to win the business. So I would encourage you, again, I've said it, probably 10 times. I'll say it one more time. I encourage you to reach out to your sales rep and ask these questions.
Yeah, they'll help you.
Yeah.
They'll talk.
And
That's what
and
it's all
yeah,
about.
And if you have any problems reaching out to your sales rep, you can reach out to me, and I'll be more than glad to help you.
Emily, I just thought of something that we probably should have said sooner. So Seth came to us 13 years ago from Indiana, and he relied on SiteOne there. And when he came here, he couldn't believe what we were doing, driving around, doing all this crazy stuff. And he said, SiteOne will deliver all this stuff here for you. And I was like, okay, well, help me get it set up. So that was how this got started. We didn't even work with you 13 years ago. We did a little bit, but we didn't know that you could do this.
Right.
Because I was so busy driving around getting plants and everything else. I didn't know any better.
You only knew what you knew. You didn't.
So I mean, that's why we put this on today. Hopefully, we're
Right.
helping you not make the mistakes we made.
Open your eyes up. Take the blinders down and really truly reach out and ask for help. And more times than not, human nature, people are going to help you.
Emily, anything else?
Nope. I know you have a couple more slides left, so I'll let you wrap it up.
All right, so we've got some upcoming events. I'm going to be doing several SiteOne universities. Atlantic City, January 14th, really nice venue there at the Hard Rock. Come out and see me. Wisconsin Dells, February the 17th. Come out and see me there. St. Louis and Chesterfield, February the 19th. Come out and see me there. There's probably a whole ton of people on here today from Boston. That's a really big event, Steve. That one's incredible. Come out and see me. That'll be in Marlboro, Massachusetts. I always have trouble saying that one. It's a tongue twister for me on March the 9th. And if you go to siteone.com//events, you can see that. Please come see us in Dallas, Texas at Grow. It's the finest educational experience in the green industry, folks. SiteOne is an enormous supporter of ours there. Tiffany, you're in Houston. You're looking for ways to learn more. Come over there. You'll be around more than 1,000 success-minded landscape professionals. We've got a great event planned. Brian will be there. I'll be there. Emily will be there. We'd love to have you. And then Steve, we'll close it out here with you here on SiteOne.
Yes, customers, reach out to your sales rep and ask for your annual commitment meeting. The annual commitment meeting is meant to establish a relationship in the beginning of the year where we can talk about pain points and how we can grow together. Every company has pain points, and particularly those that are growing. So, don't be shy. Reach out and ask how we can help you. It's a great opportunity for the seller to learn more about your business, to learn and solve problems together, face to face on a business solution that SiteOne can help you with. Find common ground, determine what's good, what's bad, and find a path forward. And network with industry professionals, whether that be with the Grow Group, whether that be with a SiteOne.com event. That's how most people, when Marty started, that's how Marty learned. Right.
And I think at times locally it's hard to commiserate with your competition about how your issue. But look, problems are problems. And when I've been in SiteOne stores, the amount of landscapers coming in there, it's a pretty cool community that you guys have built as well.
No, thank you, Marty, for recognizing.
Steve, thank you.
Thank you.
You're a good man. You're a good chef.
Yes.
We love how you cook for us.
Thank you, Marty.
We love you, Clutch Camacho, and how you do.
Yes.
Brian, thank you for everything you do. You always make me look smart. Emily behind the scenes here producing. I'm going to leave you with my favorite quote. Good things come to those who wait. Good things come to those who wait, but only the things left behind by those who didn't. Don't wait. Seize the day. Reach out to your SiteOne rep. Talk to them. Show them. Just tell them how bad your procurement situation is or whatever the situation is, and I bet you they're going to help you. And by all means, let us know. If there's something we can help you with or you want to report to us that you got things rolling, that would really make our day. That's what we're all about here at the Grow Group, is making an impact on the owners and leaders of landscaping companies and helping you move your lives forward. So on behalf of Steve and Brian and Emily, thanks a lot. Have a great day.
Have a wonderful holiday.